So you may have heard this statement, culture eats strategy for breakfast. That famous saying was from Peter Drucker. I believe that is one of the most powerful statements we can embrace. Every organization has a culture. Every individual, every family has a culture. And when we first start out, the culture isn't that intentional. It begins and is passed on relationally. In reality, all of us, every organization, every family, every individual has a culture. And so you might say, well, what's so important about culture? How do you define culture? Culture is the expression of values, the things, the heroes that we make, and the celebrations we have. It gets passed on from one generation or from one event to the next by expressing these heroes, these celebrations, and the values that are represented. It becomes important because it reflects who we are as individuals. Every one of us come with a family playbook. A family playbook that defines our values and tells us how we're to act in situations and circumstances. And in your organization, whether it's intentional or not, develops a family playbook. And the family playbook tells us how we react to circumstances and situations, how we apply the values of our organization to the customers or the circumstances or the ministry events that take place under our care. And so culture matters. Culture, no matter how strategic we become in our thinking or our efforts to influence our product sales or our ministry expressions, if our culture doesn't align with our strategy, it will fail. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. And when I was growing up, just to highlight a point, in my family playbook, my dad was a businessman. I loved and respected my dad highly. And when I was in my pre-teens, I went to the state fair, and I went into a tent that had all these kind of gifts that you could buy. And I saw a gift and I thought, I need to buy this for my dad. He's gonna love this. And the gift was a little box, almost like a jewelry gift box. And on the top it says, how to succeed in business. And when you opened the box, there was a gold screw in it, and underneath it said, everybody. And I thought, perfect. This is what my dad, he'll love this. This is what my dad needs to know, is how you succeed in business. I couldn't wait to tell my dad, give my dad this gift. And so when I got home, I said, Dad, I bought a gift for you at the state fair. And I presented it to my dad, and he looked at the box and he read the outside, how to succeed in business. He opened the box, saw the gold screw, and he didn't react. He didn't correct me. He didn't throw it aside. But the look on his face told me everything. The look on his face told me, I got a lot of work to do with this boy. He does not understand the values with which I operate. I didn't reflect the culture of our family. So here's the question. How do you reflect the culture of your organization? Do you even know that your organization has a culture? Do you know the values that your culture represents? It's so important that you understand, because culture eats strategy for breakfast. And so you may be, as a team, you may be working on strategic efforts to introduce ministry or to advance a product line, and you're not addressing culture, and you're doomed for failure. Culture matters. Why don't you look at it today, and let's express the culture that is ours, and maybe even be aware of your family culture, because you bring that into the organization and it may be influencing the organization in a negative way. Adopt the culture, adopt the values, and allow the culture of your organization to support the strategy that you're expressing.